What is going on? You are listening to Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. This is episode 785. I am your host, Steve V, alongside Jeremy Ross Lopez. Good to hear from you, Jeremy. How are you?
Likewise, I'm really good. Just trying to enjoy summer before it finishes.
Oh, I know. We did a whole show on that, on how it takes forever to get here, and everybody seems to want to wrap it up. And you can check that episode out. But I am just squeezing the juice out of every day of this summer because I love it. So, absolutely. Joining us, of course, the lovely, talented Kodi Maurice Doggett. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm squeezing the juice too, honey. I got to get all I can get out of the last days of summer.
No, absolutely. Oh. Well, let's just get right into our sex talk because today there's apparently a name for another bad dating behavior we've all experienced, and it's called benching. It's when you keep someone interested enough that they don't completely move on, but you're also not really moving the relationship forward. You text them, you flirt, maybe you hook up, you make vague plans, you disappear for a little while, and then suddenly pop back with a, hey, stranger. And naturally, when I read about this, my first thought was, what an asshole. But then I thought a lot about it, and I said, wait, haven't most of us done some version of this? Maybe we knew somebody wasn't really right for us, but we weren't ready to let them go. Maybe we didn't want to hurt their feelings. Maybe we liked the attention. Maybe the sex was good. Maybe we thought, he's great, but what if somebody better comes along? Or maybe we simply didn't have the balls to say, I don't think this is going anywhere. So today, I kind of want to put all three of us on trial, Jeremy, Kodi, myself, and ask the
Judge Judy's in the house.
Yep. Judge Judy's in the house. Have we ever benched somebody? Have we been benched? And are dating apps making all of us believe the grass is always greener? So if just to clarify, what is really benching? It's basically keeping someone romantically interested without fully committing or allowing the relationship to progress. And therapists actually say, well, many of us do this. It can be somewhat cruel because you have signs like hot and cold communication. Like I said, you make vague plans that never materialize, disappearing and suddenly resurfacing, giving just enough attention to maintain someone's interest, keeping someone around while exploring other options. I mean, Jeremy, have you ever benched someone now that you kind of understand what this means?
I don't think I have specifically. I think if I were to bend the meaning of this, I kind of did it to my current boyfriend, but it was kind of stringing him along for the year that we talked on social media before meeting. So, I mean, it was benched a little bit because it was like, oh, I was making all these excuses of how I was super busy, but then we'd lose touch for a little bit, and then I'd like re-entertain the conversation and reach out again, and then he would reach out. And so, I mean, that situation and scenario I feel is the only one that I could apply this to that would be similar. And I'm very happy and feel lucky that he stayed interested because I definitely like strung him along for a while, and I wasn't having any other romantic relations, but I was a little too nervous and anxious to like take the step to go on a first date, and I'm very glad that I did, but it definitely took a while. Other than that, I don't think of I can't think of another situation where I would string someone along. I do think after you've met someone and you've had like plenty of dates or plenty of time with them, it is kind of like horrible to, I don't know, ghost them or play with their feelings or bench them. Like,
yeah,
this meaning actually is, and I feel like I don't really have that in me to do that if you've already met.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit later in the show, we're going to talk about have you ever been benched? And I have answers to that one because I feel like I have, but we'll get into that then. Me benching, I can use this term for friendships for sure, that maybe new people that have come into my life that were very quick to want to become friends and do things. And maybe I was excited at the time because we had a very, a very interesting conversation, but then I wasn't sure I wanted to. They were seemingly wanting to make quicker plans than I was ready for, and so I might put them off for a period of time, and then either later we finally did get together and it either fizzled out or we did become friends. So I've benched kind of in that friendship zone if it's just too quick. And I feel like we all need to nurture our own friendships, and the ones you have in your core group, you have to really take the time and plan things. So when new people come around friendship wise, I'm guilty of that. I think for me though, I can think of one person that really wanted to become my boyfriend, and I wasn't really ready at the time, and I just kept saying we're hanging out, and he was so persistent. And I don't know that I ever used the word boyfriends, but we spent so much time together, and I did string him along. It didn't end well, but we'll talk more about that. But how about you, Kodi? Have you ever benched someone at all, and now that you understand what this term really means?
I mean, but can I plead the fifth, Judge Judy? Because I
You
feel
cannot. Part of podcasting and Judge Judy
No.
is no, you're in the court
Oh
of law.
my gosh. I'm definitely going to incriminate myself with this one because I'm guilty. I'm doing it right now, as a matter of fact.
Oh my God.
In my
They're
defense,
not listening to this.
in my defense, I know, right? I hope he doesn't know I have a podcast. But the very same night I met the guy that I am interested in, like we're dating now, kind of seriously. I met another guy. I met another guy the same night. We hit it off. He's very nice. We had met before, and we just started like communicating around the same time that I was spending all this time with this other guy. So we're going to call them Guy A and Guy B. Guy A, I'm interested in dating right now. So A, I spent a lot of time with him. Like in the 2 weeks, we spent probably every day together. And then Guy B, we were just texting a lot. So Guy B, I have kind of been benching him just in case, or like not even really just in case, but I haven't had a lot of spare time to spend with him. So I feel like maybe he just texted me yesterday, actually, and I haven't responded yet. I probably should tell him right now, today, that, I met somebody else and I'm, I don't know. That seems too quick for me. It's been a month since I started seeing this one guy, and I don't know where it's going to go from here. And I'm not really sure that we're even really going to be together. So why am I discounting or eliminating any other potential paramours right now when I don't know? I have to talk to my therapist about it. See, I'm of two minds because benching, I don't really think it's horrible. If you like have genuine feelings or intentions to see this person, and your life, it can be too busy. You have all these things that are keeping you from actually meeting up with them, but you have genuine interest in them. I don't see how that is necessarily that bad. Do you guys agree, or what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think I think the when you are interested in somebody, you will respond, and he's maybe getting the point, or I would get the point if I sent a text to somebody and we're already at Monday evening here practically, and they still hadn't responded.
Yeah, it was
I would start to think.
But I was with you guys, and I was
That's true.
hanging
Busy
y'all.
Sunday, but
Busy
most people would
Sunday.
think the next day at some point when you came up for air
You
that
know
it
what?
would be. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Jeremy? How would you?
I would expect that it kind of sizzled just from, like Steve said. I feel like if someone's on your mind enough, then you would have texted them back. At least that's how I would think. If I left an impression on someone and they didn't text back, then I would kind of be not over it, but just like all set. I think a response takes 2 seconds, and if you don't have that time and you didn't wake up thinking, oh, I was busy last night, but I didn't respond this morning or like first thing today, then I don't know. I just kind of feel like you're probably not that interested, or that the person doesn't care enough to get back to me in a timely manner. Then I'm kind of all set too. But that's just my opinion of it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that years ago I went on speed dating. It's funny because we're going to do a hot topic on this guy that has a platform all on speed dating, and we'll talk about that later. But I remember I met this guy and we matched, and he was very attractive. We had great conversation on the speed dating. We ended up planning an actual date, went on the date. We had great conversation, so into each other, had things in common. I remember he was going on a cruise. I think it was an Atlantis cruise, his first one. And I was even giving him tips on that cruise, that particular type of cruise. You're going to have a good time. He was going with buddies. And we made out on, like, the street corner, and we're so into it. And he was texting me all up until leaving. And then I never heard from him because he said, when I get back, oh no, when he got back, even. So it's not even like maybe he met somebody on the cruise, because he got back and we made a plan to go on a picnic date. And he
I
never,
remember this guy, by the way.
yeah, he never responded. Like, it was the day before. He said, so looking forward to this. And then the next day he canceled and said he had to go see his parents. And I said, he said, we'll plan something again soon. And I reached out again and never heard from him. And I never, ever got an answer. And it was, of course, at the time it plagued me, but who knows I mean, at what point does being unsure become stringing someone along, Kodi, is the question.
Yeah, as soon as you make that definitive, you make that answer and you make that determination within yourself, you should probably let the other person know. And I just text him, y'all. So
Oh my God.
I'm going to tell him that. I was like,
I'm
how are
glad
you?
you made the decision.
Yeah, I'm like, this
We
is
didn't
horrible.
mean
I
this.
should not
We
be
didn't mean
stringing
to
this
tune
guy
out on the
along.
podcast.
No, I was completely listening, but I feel so bad. Like, but it's the circumstances. How you meet two guys in one night, then one of them has to go kind of on the back burner, unfortunately. So
It does. You are true in many ways, and I think there's therapists that are talking about this as well, that it's not always the worst thing. You're trying to figure things out. I mean, Jeremy, your example too, we should clarify for those that maybe haven't heard the story before, that your boyfriend slid into your DMs and was a listener to this podcast. And I would almost be the same way if I was unsure of, you've never met this person. Had you even talked, or was just simple keeping it on the DMs? You don't know this person, right?
Also,
Right.
not really an app guy either, Jeremy. So there's that whole, right? Am I right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I just kept it all to DMs for a while, so we hadn't like had a phone call or any of that beforehand.
But he ultimately, I mean, what was the pivotal moment that broke this, you stringing him along? Did he just finally say, hey, can we meet up? And
Oh
kind of
yeah, I could tell that it was like getting towards the end of, like, if I said no that last time, then he would be like, okay, then like I'm all set. And so I was like, yes, I will go on the date, and he wasn't expecting that, and I think we were both pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, even with Diego, my husband now, that ultimately ended, I was kind of seeing somebody in Mexico, but I was really interested in Diego, who was here in my own city, because we're going to talk a little bit about, when distance is a thing. And I remember, we went on one amazing date that lasted, hours and hours. And then we tried to plan another hiking date. And I felt like he invited somebody else too. And I thought, oh, that's not a good sign. But it was really, I found out later, oh, that person really wanted to go on a hike too. But I thought I was being friend zoned by him inviting a third person. And then we had a few other times where I thought, is he putting me on the back burner? But like, to your point, Jeremy, I think I was more the Kevin in the situation where I just kept staying in there and seeing him at the Eagle, and I think I put it out there. I told his friend he's going to be my boyfriend one day, and I manifested it. And so it was really like the aggressor of the two, and it worked off and paid off. But I was at one point thinking, am I being, pushed to the side burner. But Kodi, he was really honest with me at one point. I'll never forget. I saw Diego. It was New Year's Eve, and it was really early on, and I was interested. And he said to me, "Just so you know, I'm kind of here with this guy that I sometimes see." And I was like mortified, but at the same time, I love the honesty. And he said he's not dating him, but that this is the story right now, and I'm just nipping it in the bud right now, so you know. And he wasn't telling me, don't, let's not continue to try and see each other. It's just, there's somebody here that I do see sometimes, FYI. And I liked the honesty and all that. But when you talk about, is the grass always greener problem, particularly in a dating app culture, have apps trained us to believe there's always somebody better one swipe away, Jeremy?
I think that they can definitely give you that impression, but I think when you kind of find a diamond in the rough, or you know that you're lucky with what you have, I think it's easy to take something really good for granted. And I think that it's easy to use social media and think that something is better than it actually is. And a lot of times everything looks better than it actually is on social media or any sort of app. And so I think that you have to take that into consideration when you're making up your mind about dating anyone.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I do believe, I think when it's just a swipe away and it's a grid, you can, you less personalize the person. So I've always said I do so much better meeting people in person, partly because there's an energy presence in front of you. There is a bond that you either form in that evening, in a conversation, in an eye wink, in the sound of their voice, in their body language. That's a 3D real life person in front of you. Voice to me is so important, hearing how they speak and the manner they speak, that you don't get from, to me, it would be the grass is always greener on a grid. And am I really going to like this person? Do I really want to take the effort to go? I mean, I think if I was using the apps back in the day more, I would then need to get on a FaceTime. And I've noticed some people do that just to, in this day and age, catfishing, are they even a real person? You want to even do that for safety concerns and verify that they're real. But number two, I would want to do that too, to see what kind of energy, even through a phone call, FaceTime, that I'm getting from this person before I actually go on the date. Is that fair, Kodi, to do that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. And I love that we have that option now. Like, I think that when, like, the dating apps were in their inception, it was kind of easy to just get away with so much. And we see how the dating apps, we hear all these stories about people getting taken advantage of on these apps, and people getting harassed and beat up and all these other things. So you have to be as safe as possible. And I think verifying with a FaceTime is definitely a way to get around that.
Yeah. I mean, but staying on you, Kodi, is the grass always greener when, he's cute, but not quite hot enough? He's great, but maybe someone more compatible is out there. It's funny because the two people you're talking about, you use the apps a lot, but you met them both in person, right?
I did. I met them both in a bar, and yes. But I agree that
you're a resident, the single person out
I'm
there.
The single person. Yes, I am. Yeah. So this you messing up my game on this topic right here. You're throwing all the salt in my game. All the people that listen to me and want to date me, they're done now. They're like, he benches bitches. So yeah, no, I think it's something that is definitely in our community that's an issue, because I feel like a lot of people think that they can just do better. And I think that they don't realize that, like, relationships are hard. And I feel like that needs to be taken into consideration. And loving somebody and standing next to them is a choice that you have to make every single day. So I think that the grass is not always greener, because nobody is perfect out there. So if you find somebody that you're compatible with, that respects you and makes you feel special out there in this world, I'm generally speaking a one man, so I'm gonna stick beside him because I know I love a good man, Savannah.
You bring up a really good point too, that relationships are challenging, hard. The time you have to, I mean, it's like we talk so much about finding that person. There's so much effort that goes into dating and apps and speed dating and finding that person. And then I think we always have to ask the question though, are we ready for a relationship? And maybe that's why
Mm,
sometimes I could see myself back in the day, benching was a useful term, or was it made sense, because I don't even know if I was asked that question to myself, am I ready now for a relationship, and all that it consumes and what it really means. And I think sometimes that term benching, aspects of it can really make sense, because you don't even know if you really want this, and you're spending a lot of time looking for something that you haven't asked that question, that deep down question, are you even ready? So, but then who is ready? So who
yep.
knows? I
What is ready?
mean, what is ready? I mean, sometimes we tell ourselves we're avoiding the breakup because we're being kind, but is that actually kindness? When we avoid telling someone we're not interested because we don't want to hurt him, are we really protecting his feelings or protecting our feelings from an uncomfortable conversation, Jeremy?
I think you're protecting it by not wanting to have it, but I think you're kind of being detrimental at the same time, because I feel like it is definitely best to be honest, and I know it's very hard to be honest at the same time, and it's hard to come forward with your real feelings, but at the same time I feel like you're hurting someone's feelings in the moment, but you're also benefiting them because then they know the truth rather than holding on to something and not being forthcoming. Then they can't move on, or they're not able to understand what the real issue is.
Yeah, it does bring me back to that story I was telling, where even though I never really got an answer from that person, it just ended it. I had to just go through that period of, wow, what happened? Why did he fall off the face of the earth? But I ultimately accepted it and moved on. But it brings up, Cody, false hope. Is false hope actually more cruel than rejection?
I think in the long run, just like Jeremy was saying, yes, it is because false hope and then rejection at the end. It's like being stabbed twice, basically. If you definitely know that you're not interested in somebody, then I think it's best to just be upfront. So yeah, I think uh, false hope. Well, it's in the name itself, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to come out positively in the end. So I think it's definitely more cruel to string somebody along and then at the end of the day just to let them down anyway. So yeah, definitely is it's way horrible, way worse. And I want to kind of make the distinction, like hooking up with somebody is different than thinking that you're going to be in a relationship with somebody. I've strung people along for hookups plenty of times,
That's
but
so
I
funny
wouldn't
that you
do
say that,
that.
because that's what I was just going to bring up this, but go on.
Oh,
And
really?
you're
Oh,
right
okay.
on. Yeah. Well, I was
Oh
going
my
to, yeah.
gosh,
Well,
we're
there's,
along the same line of thinking. But I would never, for a relationship, I would try my best to be upfront and honest because hooking up is something else, and people, go ahead, ask the question now. I'm very curious as to
well,
where
it
this is
brings up,
going.
yeah, hooking up has a lot to do with timing. And it's just like this, or dare I use a magic, it's magical when it works, because there are a lot of the stars have to really align. And that has to do everything from, is there somebody else out there, right? Or am I ready to get fucked, like logistically and everything? You know what I'm talking about. But there really is nothing inherently wrong with casually seeing or sleeping with multiple people, I feel. The difference may simply be honesty. I mean, can you, Cody, have three fuck buddies, dates, or casual guys in rotation without benching anyone?
Yeah, well, benching is without benching anyone is really tough, especially if you have three guys that you're juggling. Because the guys I like to have sex with want to have sex all the time, so they're generally pretty down to have sex. So I try to just have like one, maybe two in the rotation. And then, if sporadically have other guys that you kind of sprinkle in there now and again. I love that I have this down to a science. This is something I could probably teach lessons on. It's crazy to me. But yeah, I bench people all the time when it comes to, because this is going to sound horrible. There's so many hot guys out there. It's even on my profile, right? That it's I say on there, there's so much ass in so little time. So
oh wow, so you just put it out there. I love
put
that
it
though.
out there. Yeah, I'm completely honest because I feel like for me, there's only so many nuts that I have inside of me. So I can only spread the love so much, you guys, and I'm doing my best to service the community. But I'm only one man.
Okay, I like that. I mean, here's a question for you, Jeremy. Is saying I'm just seeing where things go sometimes a convenient way of avoiding telling somebody I like you, but probably not enough?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I just feel like it's not exactly fair at the same time because I feel like you're stringing them along, like we said, but you're not making a definitive answer at that time. And if
Yeah.
they're asking you for that and you're not giving it, then I mean, I just don't agree with that. I think it's really best to try and give them whatever you're actually feeling rather than sugarcoating it.
And I think if I was told that I'm just seeing where things go, I would interpret that as, okay, Steve, let's just, fine, I hear you, but I'm not going to put a lot of effort into this. And I would just continue on my journey of either, if I was looking for somebody, I would continue on going on dates. And because I would just, because I think it would be torture to believe like, oh, there's a sparkle of hope. And to me, that just kind of says, especially if they, yeah, do, yeah.
I think that, for me, that is almost like the kiss of death because you're still figuring things out. How long has it been since we've been dating? Like, I don't understand how people can not discern. And I want to give people the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe they are kind of on the fence and they don't know where things are going. But I think in your heart of hearts, I think people definitely know how they feel about other people that they potentially want to date. And they just are afraid of speaking that out loud. So generally speaking, I feel like maybe like 70-80% of people know, and they're just afraid maybe, but there's still that 30 to 25% out there. So I don't know.
And then here's the ever old question. Have any of us ever been benched? I'll go first. I feel like I have, mostly due to long distance. And there was a guy in San Francisco that I've talked about before that we dated early on in the 90s. 90s, oh my goodness, so long ago. And then, 2016 rolled around and I was going back home to San Francisco area and we reignited this. And the sex was just as hot as ever. We went on some really great dates. But then, and I think because of the long distance, and I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but he's sober, so doesn't go to like a lot of bars, and really, in the meantime, told me one time he was dating like two other guys, and I was like, oh, that's news to me. And then ultimately picked one of the guys and finally told me later on, but I was kind of being benched for a while. And then ultimately it didn't work out with that guy and tried to come back to me. But I was like, no, I don't want to be, you know what I mean? It's like you made your choice. Granted, he picked somebody that was also in San Francisco, but it was just, for me, it was too late. It was almost like you picked the other person and I didn't. Yeah. How about you, Jeremy? Have you ever been benched that you know of?
Not that I can think of, to be honest. I just don't feel like I haven't dated so much. And so I feel like I maybe have been like ghosted by a hookup here and there when I was living in New York. But I mean, other than that, I don't think I've been in the situation or scenario where someone has strung me along or ghosted me in that sense.
Yeah, it's not a great feeling, I'll tell you that.
I'm sure.
But yeah, how about you, Kodi? Can you think of a time when you've been benched?
I definitely have. I feel like I have. I feel definitely I've been ghosted for sure, many, many, many times. But benched, I'm not so. I can't recall a certain instance, but I definitely feel like I have been. I definitely feel like I've been put on the back burner for other options out there. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes, but I don't have like a specific time frame or example of it.
And then here's a fun thing to kind of close all this out. When does someone deserve an answer? Let's just answer these as quick as possible. After one date, Jeremy?
The answer for
No.
what exactly? Wait,
No,
Well,
I know I know what you're
like, where's
asking,
this
but
going? Yeah, right.
yeah,
oh,
I think it
girl.
takes a little more than that. I mean, I feel like after one date, you I feel like sometimes it can end on an awkward note, and some of mine definitely have. And I feel like the next time you see that person, it gets even better or it doesn't. But I still feel like you can't really put the time frame on the first date or the second date. I think it takes a few.
I agree with you because the next question was Cody was 2 dates, three after sex. I
What?
think you need at least 3 dates to kind of ask that question because the first one I feel like Jeremy said, you don't even know this person. You want to even see, if you like this person. And at that end of that date, if it's mutual, hey, do we want to do this again? Or I'd like to take you out. I think then you can decide to go on a second to really feel it out. I would say if you make it to a third date, you can kind of tell the person where you're at. What do you say to that, Cody?
I would say two or three. Definitely not after one, because after one, I feel like if you don't if you are not interested in contacting them again and go on another date, I think it's pretty evident just by not saying anything. But after a second, if you go on a second date with somebody, I feel like the intimacy, it evolves to the next level. So I feel like after that, maybe if you're not interested anymore, just explain to them that it's not something that you want to pursue anymore. I don't know. I
Th-
think maybe two.
this
That's
is
just me.
interesting, though, Cody, because I wrote on here after you've been talking every day, and you mentioned that with one of the guys
Girl,
out of the
guy
two that
A.
you met the same time, Guy A. Let's go back to Guy A, who I believe I met.
Yes, you did. You've met
Okay,
him.
got it. Yeah. I just want to keep it at head for the juiciness of it all. So I can put a face in there.
I know. I know why you said that.
Yeah, right. But you mentioned that you were spending almost every single day
No,
together.
it was every day. I saw him every day for 2 weeks.
Did in that 2 week period, I'm just curious, did the conversation of what does this mean? Where are we at come up?
Huh. I think it did. I'm pretty sure it did. But not like, oh, are we boyfriends? Because that was not the case. I think the conversation was, we're not going to be boyfriends yet.
Okay.
I think that's exactly how we started the conversation. I think that maybe happened after the 2 weeks. So it maybe within the third week or close to the end of the second week. It was like,
Wait, but then you said that you need to tell them after 2 dates, so
but
then
if you're
you're
not interested, if you're
Oh,
not
okay.
interested, yes.
Okay.
Good point. Good clarification.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Jeremy's like, hold up.
Wait a
I'm just
minute.
checking all the boxes.
He's
Yeah.
like, I just want to clarify, girl. I don't want you out here confusing the girls. But yes, I think closer to the second week, I said to him, I was like, I'm very interested in you, but I don't want to take this too fast. And we were on the same page as far as that was concerned.
Yeah. I mean, it can be if you do meet somebody and it's working out, especially sexually as well, that you can kind of get lost in that moment of, but of just spending every moment with that person. But then it's like, what point do you pull back and say, what are we doing here? Right. And
Yeah.
those conversations then have to turn to, okay, let's open up a little bit. Where are we at? So, but I think two mature people can handle it in these cities. So we want to know
these
how you
streets.
weigh in on the benching. As always, let's continue the conversation over on our tags Patreon community. You can grab a free account, grab a paid tier, but with the free one, you can continue this conversation. Have you been benched? Are you guilty of benching? Do you think it's even a bad thing? When does it turn sour? Let us know. Tags patreon.com/tags podcast. And with that, let's get good conversation, guys. So
Oh,
fun.
definitely.
Yeah.
If you've ever kept someone around, even when you knew they probably weren't the one, or maybe you've been the person left sitting on the bench, I'm writing about it in tomorrow's new free post on The Naked Truth Steve, my new Substack. It ties into our latest Tags podcast conversation about benching, dating, honesty, and that feeling that maybe somebody better is always right around the corner. And if you missed last week's paid post, before Hot Gay Summer, there was gymnastic camp. I go back to the summers of my childhood, gymnastic camp, Madonna, friendship, being different, and the places where I learned what freedom felt like. You can read both at The Naked Truth Steve on Substack. Subscribe for free, and if you want the more personal stories, become a paid subscriber. You can get the link in show notes on our website, Tags Podcast, or go to Substack at The Naked Truth Steve. Yeah. Well, let's get into hot topics, and we have been talking about bathhouses. They've just been coming up recently. We just did a whole story on a potential new 10,000 square foot bathhouse that might be coming to the New York area, all because a congressman wanting to end an age-old HIV related, where they banned bathhouses during the AIDS epidemic. Well, since we are no longer in an AIDS epidemic, and it's been years since, and with PrEP, now there are political figures that want to bring it back. And we talked about another town in America that is also they actually are ending that old AIDS epidemic law that banned bathhouses. Well, now, keeping in theme, I love that there's a new story about a bathhouse every week here.
I know, right?
Yeah, right. Birmingham, UK. It's like the second largest city in the UK next to London, is offering something a little different. And I want to know what you guys think about it. It's the second city gained a new addition to its LGBTQ scene last week. It's a place called YUMBO. I love the name, YUMBO. It reminds me because there's a Yumbers is what my sister and I say, and it's all based on this TV show that we were watching. And it was cute. Anyway, YUMBO is a bar and sauna from the same team that formerly ran the Just For You sauna facility. So what are we talking about here? Well, it's a bathhouse for the boys, and they wanted to open spaces that bring spa, relaxation, nightlife, and community all under one roof. The upper two floors house the men's sauna facilities, while the first floor has what they call a boogie bar and social space that's open to all members of the community. Upstairs, you'll get things like a steam room, sauna space, ice bath, and private rooms for guests who prefer additional privacy and don't want to enter via the bar. YUMBO also offers a discreet entrance at the rear of the building. So, if you want to not let everybody know in the bar that you're going to, you could discreetly go on the back entrance. The downstairs bar is somewhere to meet friends, enjoy a drink, or have a night out. And the YUMBO team will be hosting themed nights. So DJs, quiz events, karaoke, all kinds of fun stuff, drag. Afterwards, you could, should the mood take you, visit the spa area upstairs. And I don't know, what do you think of this, Jeremy?
I think it sounds kind of fun and interesting. I mean, I think mixing the two and having like the vibe or the night take you wherever is kind of fun, and it would be fun to do as a couple and like just with friends and hang out.
Yes, exactly. And I'm looking up this space in Le Depot. That's what I was thinking about, because it reminds me, Kodi, of a place that years ago in Paris called Le Depot. I love saying that. That is 3 or 4 floors of like dancing, and it's just like some of the greatest dance music, and you can just go from floor to floor. But on one of the floors, you can escape and go through a maze of dark rooms. But then there's actually private rooms too, so you can I don't know that you can lock it, but you could at least close the door and have fun with somebody, and then go to another area and have a cocktail. It's like a dark room, but more of a sex club. Because we at the New York Eagle have dark rooms. This is taking it even further, like a good devoted space to a large maze, and then, like I said, private rooms as well, and then you can go back and dance. This is a little bit more bathhouse slash bar, but I love how they've kind of separated it out. And bathhouses in the past were all about only gay men, and I like that they opened the first floor to LGBTQ plus, and it's like
that.
more open. And weren't we just talking about another bathhouse that is bringing, like we were saying, oh, we could have music and Bette Midler style, you could perform there and it would be fun. What do you think of this new Birmingham YUMBO spot?
Yeah, I love it. I think that it's going to be, I would love to visit something like this because it just seems like you don't have to separate the two. It kind of takes like the seediness kind of out of a bathhouse venue. So I'm down for it. I'm ready to go. I love a nice experience to where you can party and dance and meet with your friends and then maybe go have a little bit of fun. So I think it's great. I would love to visit. Let's go to Birmingham, you guys.
Absolutely. I know it sounds like a lot of fun. Definitely. Okay, moving on. I did mention we would talk about this, where there is a guy by the name of Doug Hilton. He's called the Mustache Daddy, behind the thing called the 5 Minute Crush. And the 5 Minute Crush is a dating platform. I think he hosts it on YouTube. You can find it, or excuse me, on Facebook. He said at the time he got a lot of older gentlemen because of Facebook tends to draw a different older crowd, but now he's getting younger people as well. And it's basically what it is. His vision began with wanting to help people feel less lonely by providing an opportunity for men to feel listened to and be seen. And it's called the 5 Minute Crush, an online speed dating platform designed to replace weeks of texting with something many dating platforms seem to have forgotten: real conversation. He says that the inspiration came after hearing frustrations from men navigating online dating. I was hearing that it could take 4 to 6 weeks after connecting on dating sites just to have a live conversation or actually meet. Then, after waiting that long, the connection built through texting would quickly disappear once they met in person, and they still had to get through a 1 to 3 hour date. Participants join a virtual event where they're paired with several men for a series of live 5 minute conversations. If both participants express mutual interest afterward, their contact information is exchanged. My service cuts through all the bullshit and the countless texting, swiping, and sorting through pictures from 2010. Just a 5 minute live video discussion tells people a lot. And he says 5 minutes might not seem like much, but it can be enough to discover whether there's chemistry, curiosity, or simply someone from worth getting to know. And Doug explained later in this interview that he actually met his partner when he was on a layover, getting on a plane, and in 5 minutes met this guy, and it was very interesting, and they've been together ever since. And that's how the 5 Minute Crush started. I like a good speed dating. I want to see more of this. Kodi, you were just doing kind of a speed dating thing yourself with a co-hosting it, correct? You weren't the
Oh yeah, I thought you were gonna say at the Eagle.
No,
guy A and guy B. That would have been hilarious. By the way,
exactly. What's the show? They've been a guest on our show, and explain that, and then tell us what you think about the 5 Minute Crush.
Lamont White, the gay dating coach on Instagram. He wants to come back on the show too, so we need to reach out to him. But it's called Shoot Your Shot. It's on Wednesdays. It's around the same time as ours, but it goes a little bit later, so you can watch our show and then hop on over to his. So yeah, it's great. It was a great experience. I loved interacting with his audience, and I basically just brought up people that I knew that were single, and I asked them several questions about what their life was like and what they wanted out of a relationship. And people would reach out and say whether or not they wanted to connect with them. And maybe in the DMs, they got a few hit ups too. So it was really fun and everybody enjoyed themselves. So yeah, I would love to do it again. So it was a great time. I love speed dating, and I think it's something that can help a lot of people. So I think that this 5 minute speed dating thing via the internet, which is kind of great. You can maximize your time as much as you can. So yeah, I think it's a cool idea.
I think Lamont doing it on his version, and it's like on an Instagram live
Yep.
feed, which I think is really great, utilizing how we communicate today. I think this guy creating a platform, doing it that way is excellent. I think if most people that live in a fairly decent sized city look up gay speed dating, there's always a promoter out there doing something like that. And I think they're a lot of fun. I've done one myself and really enjoyed it. And it goes back to what we've been talking a lot about on this show is we need to talk more. We need to communicate more, get off our phones. And 5 minutes, like this guy said, that might not seem like a lot, but in an age where we say we're all so busy, you can learn a lot about somebody from body language to the sound of their voice. Do they only talk about themselves? Are they listening to me? And I think you then get to check those boxes on, yes, I'm interested in going on a full-fledged date or not. It just, you get to see a lot of people all in a short period of time. What do you think about this, Jeremy, about this platform and speed dating in general?
I love it, and I think it's a great idea. I think it would be harmless and fun, and I think it's a great way just to get yourself out there, even if you haven't dated in a while. And I do think after just that short video call, you can learn a lot about someone. And if you can't like make the 5 minutes interesting, then I think that you have your answer.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it does really get that, you know, that initial speech that you have to give when you go into an interview or anything, that first impression. It gets it down, and go on speed dates would be my recommendation, if nothing else, to just improve your communication skills. And if you're socially awkward, that's okay. Use this time. I mean, go on plenty of these, and it's 5 minutes, and you might meet a friend like I did at speed dating that is now Cody's friend as well.
I know. I was just
Aren't
gonna
you
say
glad I
thank
went
you.
on that speed
I was
dating?
like, thank you so much for going on that speed dating. Actually, I thought about him today, and I was like, oh, I need to reach out to him because of things. So yeah,
Yes,
thank you
got
so
it.
much.
And lastly, in hot topics, uh, you know, you might get canceled if you speak your mind against our community, especially in the Broadway world or theater world, I would say, when former Disney star Gino Segers is out of Hadestown. Boy George is out of Jesus Christ Superstar. Different controversies, different politics, same uncomfortable truth. In entertainment, what happens offstage can quickly become the main event. Boy George, we talked about this one already when he wrote a song kind of against Palestine and weighed in on Israel, pro Israel, and it rubbed people along the wrong way in many circles, including that it was AI generated. So there's that controversy as well. Well, he's now out of Jesus Christ Superstar in London, and the Gino is out because things came up that he said against the transgender community, saying no more trans. He says, I mean, he doesn't want, he said trans fairness, no more trans. And he really was talking about, he doesn't like pronouns. He kind of made fun of pronouns and basically said that trans women should not participate in sports, in, the ever old debate that we've been talking about, female sports. And that got him out. He's apologized, but still got him out of Hadestown. What do you think about this, especially the Broadway community or theater community, Jeremy, where they've done so much work throughout the years to support HIV, in LGBTQ plus inclusion? Is this dumb on their part? And do you
Yeah,
think it's unfair?
I think it's unfair and it's ignorant. And I think that you have to be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and think about the world that we're living in and feel just some compassion for people that live their life genuinely and don't feel safe doing so. Like that alone, if you put yourself in that person's shoes, it would make you so vulnerable to think about the fact that someone is trying to live authentically and is unable or unsafe to do so, and just constantly ridiculed or constantly feeling hate from outsiders or people that are outside of their community, and I think it's really stupid on their part.
Yeah, it's so funny when you think of these celebrities that really take a stand on extremely controversial political topics that really are not figured out yet. So, in other words, Israel, Palestine, the endless debate, it's been going on for eons. Cut to trans, there's still a debate going on right now. It is extremely controversial, and you also end up looking like you're anti-trans, which, do you really want to come out on that? I With our platform, we don't even have the platform that they have. I would never spew out things on social media without thinking that it's not going to come back and get me canceled. What do you say to this, Kodi?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think that he has no empathy, and I feel like maybe this should help him take stock. I think he's already attempted to walk back a lot of the things
Yeah,
he
he tried to
said.
apologize. Yeah, but it's
So
still got him fired.
yeah, but I hope he's learned something from this, because it just seems like it's a lack of empathy for humanity. Because at the end of the day, these people are human beings. Like, they're just trying to live their lives and navigate how to be a decent person here in the world. So you have to have some empathy, because at the end of the day, maybe I don't understand about what they're going through or what it is that took them to this place, but I don't have to, because it's their journey and it's their walk in life. And all I have to do is accept them and love them as much as I can. And I accept my trans brothers and sisters and love them. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and on that note, it's interesting because Diego was just showing me. He said, "Did you know that there's a first ever trans bar dedicated to the community and a safe space here in my neighborhood in Chelsea, New York?" And I said, "No." And
what?
so we're gonna check it out, Cody. If you want to check it out with
I
me,
want to
we'll go.
go. I would love
Yeah,
to.
it looks lovely too, and it's on Ninth Avenue and I think 18th, but Ninth Avenue, yes, Ninth Avenue here in Chelsea. And so, yeah, he
That
was
was a
screaming from
producer
the
moment right
shower. Yeah, right, exactly.
there.
Yeah, so
Oh
I
no.
mean, really good, and I'm really happy about that. Yep. Lastly, we love giving advice. Today is no different. This one came from Reddit when somebody titled this "Weird Reaction." Today I was at a pool party, it's summertime, right, with a bunch of other gay men. We were all nude. That's not a problem. For the majority of the time, everyone was just chilling and hanging out. As the day wore on, some people got a little handsy with consent with each other. For me, when that happens, I have a complete opposite reaction. Instead of getting excited and erect, I get absolutely soft and feel uncomfortable. No idea why. You'd think the natural male response would be excitement. Not sure why this happens. What would you say to this, Jeremy?
I would say I've been in the same situation before, and I think um, sometimes you just want to watch and you aren't going to get excited, but you're thinking about being excited. And I feel like a lot of times nerves can kick in and you can be in that setting and think of that you would have thought it was so hot, but then not be able to show that same reaction. So I think it's human and I think it's completely fine and it's not something to be ashamed of.
Yeah, I agree with you too. I think, not everyone, it's great that you were super comfortable being there at this party, but sometimes these parties do go in that direction, and that's great. You seemed fine with it as well. And, give yourself a break. Maybe it's you are a voyeur. Maybe you just pull back and watch, and maybe you are in your head too. Just sit with it a little bit, like you are asking the questions, and maybe you never will be. It's maybe not going to be your thing. Maybe you're more a one-on-one person, and that's okay. Not everybody is into playing in a public setting in a dark room where people can see and watch, and you get it's that you do have to be a little bit somewhat of an exhibitionist in that you are somewhat performing, because you're not in the confines of your own bedroom or someone's house. So, and it might not be for everybody, but I like asking the question, and I don't think you're beating yourself up too much about it, and just linger with that a little bit and take it to the next event and see where it goes. What do you say to this, Cody?
Yeah, I agree with you guys all the way. This actually happened to me a couple times, and it's just because I get intimidated by all the hotness that's in the room. So, and I'm an exhibitionist, so I like to show off. So, for it to happen to me is kind of like a mind fuck, kind of sort of. But I think the most important thing is for me, like moving forward, just know that it happens, and just kind of like take your time to find yourself and to like really not really judge yourself because it happens to a lot of people. So yeah, I think that's the most important thing.
Excellent advice and words. Oh my gosh, so much fun, you guys. Could do this.
Always.
Yeah. I am off to see a really interesting new musical called Heated Rivalry, the unauthorized musical. And it's a parody, and I've heard really good things about it. I will give my review this Wednesday on Tags Live at 9 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure I'm going to have really good things to say about it, but it looks like a lot of fun. You can always follow my co-host on the gram. Follow Jeremy at JRossLopez, at JRossLopez. Follow Kodi also on the gram and Blue Sky at Mr. Maurice. Follow me. I am _Steve V. We're live, I mentioned, Wednesday for Tags Live at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the link on tagspodcast.com. Just click on Tags Live. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Lovely.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.